Hi, welcome to our new talk show today. Actually, I have a friend of mine here. Her name is Belinda Ginter, and she is an industry leader, a success and mindset mentor, and an emotional kinesiologist. Did I say that right, Belinda?
You did, kinesiologist, absolutely.
So I met you. It's like the backstory for everyone watching.
Mm-hmm.
Belinda and I met, we were both speaking at a conference in New York a few years ago, and we kind of instantly connected. Belinda has like this really, really good energy. Like it's hard to explain, but if she walks into a room, you definitely notice her. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So for the last, 5 years now, going on 6, I have been, really working with entrepreneurs to really take their lives and their business to the next level. So really working with them to work on their emotions and work on their mindset so that they can handle whatever comes at them, again, in their life or their business, all of it the same thing, but giving them tools to really do what they've set out to do. I love people like you, Tiffany, who have these big missions and these big stories that, we all just need help. We need someone fanning our wings behind us, keeping us going and pushing us further than we normally would go. So I'm kind of that person who says it like it is, who's not afraid for you to be mad at me if I tell you the truth, but I hold that space and give you the truth so you can really fulfill your dreams.
Well, and it's interesting, right? Because we're not standalone individuals. We're not ever, especially not being a female, but even men too. I mean, we're not ever just an entrepreneur. We're always someone's daughter, someone's mother, someone's wife, someone's girlfriend, someone's friend. And so sometimes it's just really, really hard to keep accountable and on track with every aspect of your life.
Absolutely. And I think the further we got away from that pack mentality, that tribe mentality that existed for, generations and generations and generations for humans, is the more we saw like depression, anxiety, and people going through a lot of stuff, like trying to raise their children alone. We were never meant to. So you do need people in your life that hold you accountable and that inspire you to go a little bit further. We all have that stopping point for ourselves where we just kind of get to that point and it's comfortable and we're like, okay, this is good. We're not going to go any further. So you do need someone to kind of fan your flames as well and just say, no, it's time to take that next step and keep going.
Well, and it's especially true in times of adversity, right? And adversity can be anything. Obviously, we have a lot of divorces, but it could be job loss, illness, moving, breaking up with a partner. It can be a million different things, right? Empty
nesting. Yeah, even retirement. I just watched my mother-in-law go through a big change with retirement. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that that's the only constant in life, that whether we think we have to or not, we are all put in multiple places throughout our life where we're forced to recycle our life. So can you give us some like mindset tips on how we can kind of get our mojo back?
Sure, I'd love to. I'd love to. First of all, I love the term recycle your life because nothing's ever lost. And if we remember that, and nothing's ever unsalvageable. So if we learn to like really hold on to that word recycle, then it right off the beginning, it's powerful and it's positive. If we think about we're just recycling. We're just making some changes. The biggest thing is we have to give ourselves permission to drop the story of what we thought was going to happen and accept that that's not happening anymore and give ourselves the freedom to dream again and create again and really think what we want like the next chapter to look like.
Because it's hard, right? It's hard to let go. It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to let go of what was. And it's hard when you don't have control. And most adversity you don't have control over, right? Whether you get sick, usually when you get divorced, if you lose your job. And I think that it's that combination of lack of control, not being able to let go, really kind of holds a lot of people in that place that's really unhealthy. So somebody
I find that helps the best when you're looking at all that. Sorry to interrupt you, Tiff.
No.
But really is when I realize that everybody in our lives is just given like a play script. And so I picture it all on a stage, and everybody kind of walks on and gets a script. We don't know when that script says, you know, stay on to this chapter, this chapter, this chapter, or when that script tells that person exit stage left. And what really helped me was not taking that personally, because we have lots of like sometimes a friendship can feel like a divorce, or a business partnership breaking up can feel like a divorce. We actually suffer divorce a number of times in our lives. It's just not labeled that way. Right. But if you really realize that sometimes it is seriously not personal, that person's ending point, it was just written out for them. They were just playing it out in your life. And we also don't know when it says, you know, enter, enter amazing job, enter amazing, you know, collaboration, enter amazing partnership or soulmate, you know. So it kind of like gets more exciting when we don't look at it as failure, or that we did something wrong, that it's just kind of us playing out our roles in it.
No, I totally agree. And I think it's really difficult for most people, including me, you know, like I think I met you right after my horrible divorce, and I was not particularly in a good place. Or I just got to a better place, I think, actually. But anyway, and I think it's really difficult for some people because we just like focus so much on what was and what we've lost, and we don't realize, like you said, at any minute and any day, a new opportunity, a new love, a new business, a new whatever in the positive can happen for us. And I think that's lovely. I think that's lovely if you really think about that. Every day is a new blessing, and we can get up and do, you know, infinite amount of things.
Yes. Yeah. It's just we have to get excited again. And it's just really dropping the illusion of the story we had created in our heads. Like the illusion of the story of this job's going to last forever and I'm going to go right to CEO, or this man is my one and only and we're going to, you know, ride out our elderly years together. Really, it's not any of the transitions that are upsetting us. It's the stories being broken that we had told ourselves for so many years.
Yeah, because by nature, I think most people are planners, aren't we?
Yeah.
We like to go like, okay, and we're like that even about small things. Like, for example, if I was planning to go to the beach this weekend, now I cannot because it's going to be storming, right? And you automatically, emotion, anything kind of breeds when it doesn't go exactly as you thought. It's kind of a mixture of anxiety, annoyance, fear, anger, frustration.
Yes, because it's just a break in the story you were telling. So once you start realizing that to pay more attention to the stories you're telling yourself, because they're actually the triggers for all the emotions that come after, then you become much more adaptable, much more flexible. You just come up with another real fun thing that you can do that's indoors, you know, for the weekend. And you kind of just ride out life then, instead of being like life throwing its curveballs and completely taking you out at the knees.
Absolutely. Okay. So, I mean, the next question I'm going to ask you is really, really massive. So we're just going to touch on a little bit.
Okay. I'm ready.
Yeah. Catch this question. Now, so if you're going to have, you know, after this adversity and you realize the story's broken, like in practical terms, how do you go about getting your mojo back? How do you go about going, okay, I've accepted that the story is not meant to be like that, but everything isn't still good. You know, I'm faking it till I make it. So
and
what can I do?
I don't want you to fake it at all. That's my first tip. Do not fake it at all. Like, completely surrender and acknowledge the emotion you're in, but give it a deadline. Right. Okay, so I am going to feel this all for this whole week, you know, and I'm going to sit in it. I'm going to feel everything that comes up, and I'm not going to ignore anything, and I'm going to completely surrender. But Sunday night at 9 o'clock, I'm getting back up. I'm starting to make plans, and I'm getting myself back out there. Like, it's okay to feel. Society has told us it's not okay to feel. Like, get over that feeling as quick as possible. And that's why we see so much addiction and so much, you know, unhealthy things going on with people, because they're taught not to feel, where I'm telling you the exact opposite. I want you to stop and feel. I want you to completely surrender and not judge yourself during that time, but always set a deadline and have a close friend who's good at calling you out on your stuff. Commit to showing up on Sunday and going, okay, pity party's over. Time to pack up your stuff and you know, get your stuff back on. Get in the shower, get dressed. We're going out for, you know, a cup of tea or a glass of wine.
Margarita.
Yes. Mojito's my favorite. But really, like, you really have to feel it. So acknowledging it first. Next step is to really know that you know. So I always say, like, acknowledge the emotion. Like, okay, right now I am feeling abandonment. Okay, and it sucks and I'm feeling it. The next step I do is, I know I'm feeling it because I've experienced it in my past, and by sitting in it, it didn't help me then and it doesn't help me now, so I'm choosing to let it go. Like, it's kind of walking yourself through those phases. And then, you know, my favorite saying is bless and release. Like, you don't have to hold on to any piece of it. You really can choose not to bring it in your present anymore. And how we do that is by stop talking about it.
Right. And bless and release. What a brilliant saying, because that's so true, right? I mean,
yeah.
You know what I do, I know what you do, but, you know, I'm sure we both work with people who have issues from, you know, like, I've worked with people who've been divorced 12 years and they haven't been able to let it go. And one of the reasons they haven't been able to let it go is because they didn't actually take that week that you were talking about to actually grieve. They just took all those emotions, shoved them down somewhere, and kind of carried on about their day.
Yes.
And so I think what you said, I mean, it's so important for people to understand that not only is it okay to feel what you feel, but you have to go through that process. There's a grieving process that everyone has to go through if you want to come out healthier and happier on the other end. And if you don't do that, it'll follow you 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, because it's never been addressed. It's never been properly mourned or grieved. And really then, as you said, you take it with you into your next life, relationship, career, whatever it is. And it just really isn't helpful for anyone.
Yeah, whether it's your, you know, ex-boss triggered you, or an old business partner, or an old lover, or a marriage, what happens is, if you keep talking about it and you keep bringing it into your present, then that just happens to you daily. Whatever they were doing to you that you felt you were wronged in the first place just literally happens to you daily. When you choose to bless and release and stop talking about it and just talk about what you want now coming into your life, or what you've got right now even better, that's when the triggers stop and when the victimhood stops, and you're actually able to stand in your power again, because we're all really powerful. Just sometimes we forget.
Well, and we forget that we actually have control over that, right? We're so obsessed with it isn't, you know, poor me, I didn't have control over my divorce, somebody dying, you know, sickness, job loss, or whatever. So, okay, we don't have control over that. But the bless and release portion of what you're talking about, we all absolutely have control and power over.
Happiness is a choice. It literally is a choice you have to make in the second, and you're asked to make it a lot of times during a day. It never stops. But people forget that it really is a choice. I mean, I came from welfare. We had nothing. I was happy. I remember when I met my husband, we were just coming out of university. All of our belongings fit into our car, and we drove to our first apartment and rented it, and they're like, do you need us to clean it? And we're like, no, just take some money off. And they're like, well, where's your moving truck? And we pointed to our car. Like, that's all we had. And we were happy. It was hilarious. We didn't, you know, we started out, we didn't have anything. We didn't even have a dining room table. We got these little bamboo things that we put in front of the fireplace, and we sat and ate. Like, it's only if you think you're in lack or you think you're a victim that the happiness goes away and the power goes away. But I got up to 6 figures, and I'm just as happy now as I was when I was eating on those bamboo little floor mats in front of the fireplace. It doesn't matter the actual situation. It's the choice you make in that situation.
Right. It's absolutely, happiness comes from within, and we can choose it. And unfortunately, in life, as we said, multiple adversities happen to many people, not all people. They're unavoidable. The only control we have is how we deal with it, what we do moving forward, and how we choose to bless it and release. Now I'm stealing that from you, just so you know.
Good. Please do. Please do.
Okay. So, so how do you feel about kind of the whole mindset of taking back not just obviously the blessing and releasing, but then now we have the power. So what's the best way moving forward with that power for the people watching?
Set new intentions. I'm not a fan of goals, and I know that goes against everything Tony Robbins stands for, and I love the man, but I disagree about goals. I really believe you have to set intentions for what you want. They have to be short term. You got to get some wins under your belt before you're brave enough to kind of set bigger intentions for the future. But even after that week, even setting a few little intentions like, this week I'm going to go to a yoga class, or I'm going to go somewhere where I haven't met and I'm going to talk to at least 3 people. Like just baby steps. But what happens if you start doing that small, I even say to my clients, 1% a day, I don't care. Just small, but do something. Get some momentum. Once you get momentum going, you start to feel free and you start to feel good again, and it gets those endorphins running, and then you start to, kind of build up from there. I have a 5-step journal system that I swear by, and I'm happy to go over it if your viewers want to hear.
Sure, go ahead.
So basically you just get a journal of any size, and get some Post-it notes, and they're always like right close to me because I'm a Post-it note freak. But what you do is you divide it up into sections, 5 sections, okay? So you're going to have your evidence section, you're going to have your gratitude section, your money magnet log section, you're going to have your success log, and you're going to have your big, hairy, scary dreams. So the reason this journal system is so pivotal is because you get a journal that's like small enough that it fits in your purse. So it's always with you, okay? And if you're listening in your mail, so it fits in whatever bag you have, your briefcase, anything like that. Now, how the system works is as things happen right in the moment, you write them down. So that's why I find it so powerful, because you're feeling the emotion, you're writing it down, and you're being very, very present. And what I find is once my clients start to do that, so much awesomeness starts getting pulled into their life just because they're being present of it, and they're in a state of gratitude immediately. So the gratitude portion, it's just as it sounds. As you're feeling gratitude for someone, so you better believe today your name will be in my gratitude because you're helping me get my message out. I totally live for really helping people, and you're helping me have a bigger audience today, so you'll be in there. So when I'm feeling it in the moment, I write it down. So gratitude, the only thing I found when I did studies on journaling, when people waited to the end of the night or the next day when they woke up, they forgot about 80% of all the good things that happened in their day.
I can believe that, because I can't remember for breakfast unless anything else that happened today.
It's true, right? And we start to take things for granted then, so not so many things start coming into our life on a regular basis. So that's why it's so important to me that you have it with you at all times. So write down that gratitude right in the moment, right when you're feeling it, and I swear it just supersizes everything that's coming towards you.
Oh, and it's sorry.
Go ahead.
But it's partly also because when you write something down, it solidifies it, doesn't it? It's very powerful putting your words on paper.
It is. And there's going to be a certain amount of your viewers that are like, Belinda, I love you, but I can't stand putting pen to paper. There are those people. Just know, just grab your cell phone and voice record into it. But the key, again, is right in the moment when you're feeling it. Okay? If you want to supersize that too, you can just put your hand right over your vocal cords so you can feel the vibration of you saying it. It just cements something down more that makes it more real and more palatable, like sending it out to the world. The next one is my favorite. It's the evidence part of the journal. And this is every time you get evidence that you're going in the right direction. These are small, subtle things that happen to you in your day, But I promise you guys, it gets really exciting because as you start to notice and write these down, more and more and more starts to come to you. It is so cool. Small things like I have the Instagram handle Unstoppable Belinda. I've been calling myself that long before I was unstoppable to make myself unstoppable.
Right.
But, like, I actually get mail like through snail mail now that comes to me like to Unstoppable Belinda. Like, it's absolutely hilarious. So small things like that. You could be driving behind a vehicle that says, you know, you're going the right way, or keep going, or whatever, right when you need to hear that message. Small things that happen when you're doing that. So keep track of your evidence. It's hot.
Yeah, no, because there's a lot of it, right? We're bombarded. I think you're bombarded by TV, social media, phone, as you drive around, billboards, car. I mean, there's so much around if you start to pay attention.
Yes, and it becomes fun. Life becomes a little more fun when you're looking for evidence and you're recording it too.
When you're looking for positives, right?
Right? Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. The next one is a money magnet log, because the thing that will take us quickly out of our power is our finances. So what you do with this log is every morning you get up and you go onto your online banking. But here's the key. You record all the money that is available to you right in that moment. So you write what's in your checking account, write the number that's in your saving account. Now, I don't care if checks are coming out of that. I mean, what's available to you right now if you needed to make a withdrawal, okay? So you write down those numbers. You write down any available credit you have left on your credit cards or line of credits or anything like that. You can even write down, you know, how much extra is in your home if you were to sell today, like equity, you know, what you've been told by a real estate agent that would be above, you know, your mortgage, that would be liquid assets to you today. And as the day goes on, again, if you get a check in the mail or a client pays you, or, you know, you get your paycheck from work, you record it on there as well. What that does is get you focusing on what you have. And it really brings you back to a state of gratitude, to like a time when $20, $10, $5 was a big deal to you.
Right.
And it keeps you attracting more money towards you because you're just feeling good about it all the time.
Well, and who doesn't want to attract that?
Right? Right? But see, many people have been taught to do the opposite. They're going on and they're seeing what's coming out. They're seeing what they owe and they're tracking that. So they're just getting more and more of that thrown at them. So the money magnet log is gigantic. The fourth one is the success part of the journal. And the success part of the journal is anytime you do something and you have great success. So that can be as simple as, you know what, the girls call you up, they're going out for margaritas tonight, and you just simply don't feel like it. You're already in your comfies, you're ready to binge watch Netflix, you know, that's kind of the mindset you're in at that moment. And you just speak your truth and say, not tonight. And they go, okay, no problem. We'll call you next time we go out. So that's an example of speaking your truth and having success. And that is going to be logged in there for sure. And then any small successes you have in the day, again, people forget all their successes. Right? Give them to the end of the night. And if I called you and said, what were all your successes today? You go, bloody nothing, because you've forgotten them all. But when you're recording them as they're like wins that are happening during your day, it's really helpful. And I find that the evidence log and the success log are best on those days when you're having a day, like when you're really in that day of contrast and nothing's working, nothing's going right, you have to surrender to that. I pull out those two parts of my journal and I reread them, and I realize really quickly that everything's okay. Look at all the wins I've had. Look at all the evidence I'm getting. I'm going in the right direction. I can settle down now. And it keeps me kind of baseline, even on those days where everything's going wrong.
Yeah, I love that. That's all such positive reinforcement of everything you're doing every day, right? That you're getting somewhere, that you're focusing on what you have instead of what you haven't.
Yes, absolutely. And the last one is this, my favorite. It's big, hairy, scary dreams. Because I just found with doing over 6,000 clinical hours of coaching now, people are not dreaming big enough, not even close. So a big, hairy, scary dream by definition is a dream that you can't calculate to come true. we say want to be a millionaire, but then I can just say, okay, Tiff, all we have to do is sell a certain amount of products at a certain price, and this is what the deliverers will be. You'll be a millionaire. That's not a big, hairy, scary dream. A big, hairy, scary dream is something that you cannot connect the dots to right now to get what you want. It's really kind of a dream. Like you have no connections to make this happen. You're just saying it's going to happen. So one of my favorite ones of mine is that somehow, some way, I'm going to be dancing in a VIP section of a nightclub with Bruno Mars. I don't go to nightclubs, so I have no idea how this is going to happen, but there's going to be a time.
I can actually picture that.
Going in somewhere, and he goes, hey, want to come with us? And I go, yeah. And I walk with his little entourage, and we go to the VIP section, and we just dance the whole night. So it's so funny. My clients are so attached.
What does your husband think about that, by the way?
I believe he's totally cool, because I think he thinks he's an amazing dancer too. I want nothing but to watch him dance. But really, like something fun like that, like an experience that happens. But what has happened is, because I have that in my head, we were in Costa Rica, me and a group of mastermind people, and we actually were there at the same time as a famous TV personality group, and we got invited to be part of their entourage. They picked up our tab for dinner. They sent us expensive wines. Like, these things come into my life now because I'm always thinking so much bigger. So if you want that house in Malibu and it seems absolutely impossible from where you are right now, then put it in the book. Put it in the book, because it may not be Malibu, but something will come. Maybe you'll be invited somewhere from someone who owns something like that. It doesn't have to look exactly like you write, but experiences will become your way once you're daring enough to dream a little bit bigger.
No, I agree. I see that every day too. People's dreams are not big enough. And I have to say, I think that's more of a female trait. If you ask an average man, they'll say, I'm going to rule the world. I'm going to own this company. I'm going to do whatever. And unfortunately, women, girls, college kids, they might say, oh, I want to work for somebody or do something. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's like they need to have those blocks taken off their kind of glass ceilings, right?
And as kids, we dreamed all the time. We've just forgotten how to do it. It seems like even when I sit down with my journal, it seems kind of silly when I'm doing it. And I have to like talk myself through the uncomfortableness of that. But as adults, we still have to dream like gigantic, really big.
No, I agree. And that's a great thing to end the serious part of this interview on. That was great. And I think that's really, really positive, and it's good. I'm a big believer, as you know, in practical advice. Everyone can tell you what to think.
I have no interest in fluff.
Yeah. So I love that you gave us practical advice on how to journal. So everyone go out and buy a journal. And now, just for funsies and randomness, which is kind of what I'm all about, who's your favorite Avenger?
Ooh, I would say, I'm not a big, Wonder Woman is my woman, but I love the agility of Catwoman, and I know they're not Avengers because I don't watch this kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. Okay, we'll say superhero, and you can go with Wonder Woman. We'll let you have that.
Thank you. But I do love Catwoman too, because I just want to wear that outfit and look at it every day.
Yeah. Well, that'll be a whole new kind of coaching right there.
There you go.
Okay, so what superpower would you have if you could have any superpower?
I would have the ability to read minds, because I love the human mind. So I would love to be able to read and know what someone's thinking right in that moment.
Probably cause an awful lot of arguments. That's all I would think about that.
Or it could solve an awful lot of problems.
Okay, are you a cat or dog person?
Oh, I have both. I love them both dearly.
You can only pick one. They can't hear you.
Oh, God! Dog.
Okay.
But I love my Siamese cat, so.
Yeah. I was going to say, your cat's going to ignore you tonight if they haven't heard that. Okay, if you could be anyone for the day, who would you be?
Ooh. I would be Ileana Van Zandt, who is on Super Soul Sunday. She's done a lot of things with Oprah. I just very much value her honesty and her realness, and I've always looked up to her for being able to call it like it is.
I know who that is. She's brilliant.
She is. Yeah, she is magical in my eyes. And one thing that made me love her more was when I went and saw the Oprah Winfrey Show being filmed. She happened to be on Super Soul Sunday that day.
Aww.
And Oprah entered from the front and was on the stage, and she entered from the back and said hello to each and every person that wanted to. It's just, there's so much evidence that she's my girl. So that was another thing that won me over with her.
Well, and I was going to say, you dream big. Maybe you get to see her again.
That's right. Absolutely.
Well, Belinda, you've been lovely as always. So where can people find you?
Great. So my website is my name, www.belindaginter.com. You can follow me on Instagram at Unstoppable Belinda. And on Facebook, just look up my name. I have an open account, public account, so you can just start following me right away. But yeah, come join the fun.
Well, thank you again, Belinda. You've been unstoppable, as you always are. So check out Belinda's stuff, and we'll look forward to seeing you again soon, Belinda. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity, and I love you dearly, my friend. So it's been great spending an hour with you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.